Hi everyone, I'm GREYMOND. I'm an OCD recovery coach with over 9 years of experience helping people recover from OCD. On this channel, I do daily videos discussing different aspects of OCD recovery, different themes, how OCD goes, how the recovery goes. The point of it is for you to become an expert in OCD recovery so you know why this is happening to you, what you can do about it, and to ultimately fully recover from OCD. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Today I wanted to talk about assumptions in OCD recovery. So the first assumption, and this is my favorite one, I would say, and if you watch my videos, you know what I'm talking about, is that you assume that the doctor that you're talking to knows everything they possibly know about OCD. And that's a lot of the times it's true, but most of the time it's not. So when you are talking to a doctor, and I use the term doctor loosely, it can be a therapist, a coach, a doctor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, it doesn't matter. But somebody who's telling you what to do, make sure that this person actually has experience. Make sure that they know what they're talking about. You have to have um not just blind faith, not just blind trust, but an understanding that, okay, you know what, I really do think that this person can help me because of this, this, and this. You know what I mean? It has to be, you have to have an actual understanding that they know something that you don't, that they can help you in a way that you can't help yourself or nobody else can help you. Don't just look at them as like, oh, they're wearing a white lab coat, that means that they're somehow a special magical human being that knows everything and will magically help you recover. They're a human being just like you and I, and it's important for you to really understand that, because I see so many times doctors prescribing just crazy amounts of medication, wrong medication, giving just really silly advice when it comes to OCD recovery, like advice that only makes it worse, such as do more reassurance, check more, create behaviors that will help you check, or patterns that will help you check, stuff like that. So, or doing just talk therapy. Well, tell me about your childhood. Where you can tell somebody about your childhood, for years and years, it's not going to help you recover, because you do need to do ERP. So that's a big assumption. Another assumption I hear very often is, and this one is kind of a sad thing to bring up, but I think it's important to bring up, is that people around you are going to be unconditionally there for you as you are going through recovery. And as somebody who recovered from OCD and has gone through the whole process of recovery, I can tell you that everybody tries their best to be there for you, but the people around you are also people, and sometimes they will blow up, sometimes they can have their own breakdown, they can have their own difficulty dealing with it. Moreover, they don't really understand, in order to have OCD, I really think that the reason why my recovery program is so successful, in addition to the constant connection with my clients, is that I've gone through it. I understand. When my client tells me something, I get it because I've been there, and I know how they feel because I felt that. Like I understand it on a very personal level. And if the person hasn't gone through that, they will be like, well, this is silly. Why are you doing this compulsion? It's so silly. You should not be doing that. Because they're not understanding the depth that it gets the person. The person who's doing it also understands most of the time, sometimes not when OCD is very high, but most of the time they understand that it is silly, at least on some level, but they can't stop because the consequences that the mind gives are too great and it's hard to stop. So in this situation, what I would say is, don't talk to people about your OCD because they don't understand. Moreover, if you're talking to them about your OCD, chances are it will lead to either a fight or reassurance, or some sort of help doing compulsions or avoidance, and just lack of understanding. So it's like, if you feel like you absolutely need to talk to somebody who doesn't know anything about OCD, like family members I'm talking about, or friends, have a limit on it, that okay, I can, I need somebody to lean on, and we all do, and that's valid. But having kind of a limit on how many times you're going to talk to them in the course of a week or in the course of a month. And I know that, in a kind of ideal world, and how we always talk about, relationships, that they're unconditional and all of this kind of stuff. But the reality is they're not unconditional. They are very conditional. And sometimes the other person has too much, and just can't cope as well, and it just leads, like, I can tell you, I talk to people all around the world. Not once have I seen it improve a relationship, of any kind. I'm not just talking about like romantic relationship, but any relationship, but like family relationships, right? It never improves it. So I would say the less you talk about it, the more you show your brain that everything is fine. I don't need to do anything. I'm fine. I'm in the process of recovery. I'm not doing compulsions. I'm doing exposure and response prevention. You know what I mean? That's kind of the attitude. So you're behaving in every way as if you don't have OCD. And if you behave as if you don't have as if you don't have OCD, you also don't talk to other people about OCD much, right? So that's just my 2 cents on it. Again, it all comes from experience, my own experience, as well as the experience I see from everybody around. If I had other data to share with you that would be more positive about relationships, I would. I don't, unfortunately. But if you kind of navigate your way through it this way, then it won't actually cause harm to relationships. And the third one, that's also an interesting assumption, is a lot of people assume that, and I think it's kind of like a subconscious assumption. It's not a very conscious one, but people kind of just naturally feel that way, that, if they're doing recovery work, one day they'll wake up and the thoughts will be gone. Like, it will be instant. And it's important to remember that it doesn't actually work that way. What's going to happen is, and I remember this moment for myself is when I was having just really, really difficult, my OCD was really extreme. I did videos on it quite a few times. You can kind of look back and see there. But, I remember I got like a break in OCD, and it was just maybe like an hour break or 15-minute break or something like that. I don't remember exactly the time. It was like 10 years ago. But it was just a little bit of a break that I got, that I didn't have OCD, when I started to disregard and started to do the right thing. And I remember that moment to this day, because of how much I was suffering before. And that break meant, it's like, it was only basically a few minutes, but it just meant the world to me at that moment, and then it got me probably again with something else, because I remember it didn't last long. And this is how it starts. So you will start to see these breaks in the day. So at first it'll be a little bit, and then a little bit longer, right? So maybe then you have a full day of no OCD, and then it comes back and gets you with something else. And then again, you pick yourself up, and then you have, say, maybe, in a little while, you go, and then maybe you'll have 2 days, 3 days, and that's how it goes. Basically, there's two types of reassurances at play here. You want to do reassurance for OCD. That's a given. But your brain wants to reassure itself that you are not in danger. And what it does is it gives you more leeway, but it gives it to you kind of in incremental kind of, ways, right? Like, just like gives you a little bit and watches, and okay, you're safe. You didn't die. Nothing bad happened. Okay, I'll give you a little more, then pulls back, then a little more, and that's how the recovery really happens, and you'll, at the end of towards the end of the recovery process, you will see that you're getting thoughts, but they're like, the thoughts become like a whisper, instead of like a scream in your head, right? And they happen less and less often. You might get like one thought a week, or one thought every 2 weeks, that you notice. And it just goes down from there, and eventually just kind of, disappears completely. That's how the recovery goes. It's not in like one day it's there, the other day it's not, and then it never comes back again. I hope you find this video and all my other videos helpful. If you do, please don't forget to subscribe. As you know, I do videos daily, so it gives you a lot of support as you're fighting for your OCD recovery. If you would like to do the recovery program, all the information is on youhaveocd.com. You can sign up from there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.